Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this speed gaming presentation of the Link to the Past Randomizer Main Tournament 2022 edition. I am MindDM. I am joined alongside in the booth for the call today by Leoria. Leo, how are you doing?
I am great, MindDM. It's going to be a fantastic match. We've got a Game 3 scenario here for Jesse, aka RadicalSniper99 versus P-Train. This has been an adventurous series, to say the least. You know, I'm very excited to see how this turns out. I promised I would not be biased for my teammate, but I did guarantee that I would be biased against my teammate. So yeah, that should make this real fun.
Yep, we have some League teammate action going on here, even though it's main tournament and not attached to League in any way other than we're playing the same video game. Our tracker today, GFE, is a teammate of P-Train. Not going to be on voice, not going to be able to defend himself from anything that might happen in the case that P-Train does something silly. And Leo, a teammate of Jesse. So I'm the one who's going to be calling it down the middle. If it feels like I hate your favored runner, that's just because that's the way commentary tends to work out.
Yeah, no, this is excellent. And hey, we're off. And we have two different starts. I know Jesse is adamant about his uncle's start. P-Train taking the quote correct start, in my opinion, with the good old Sank opener.
Immediately raiding the poor box. What life decisions have you made to make that your opener?
I mean, you know, I am a fan of, getting as much information as possible. P-Train showing that off, getting the bush crab. Jesse gets his tier 1 of a big 20, which is really nice, but, P-Train's going to be able to set up for that tier 2 or 3 here. And Lumberjack.
And not Hoarder because he blitzed it with the other bush. Looks like Jesse's going to try and snipe another guard there, get one more of these tree poles.
Yeah, big 20s are very, very valuable throughout the game, but, especially early on, if you don't find bombs, getting that, quick 80 rupees, or in Jesse's case, 160, it's great.
Yep, free early game resources, always nice to have. You're going to spend 100 of them on Bottle Vendor. If you wind up having to buy bombs, there goes another 50. Now it's something that Jesse doesn't really have to worry about.
Yeah, I agree completely. As we pull Fire Rod here from the Thieves' Hut, so Jesse will be getting that shortly. We also saw P-Train pick up a heart piece. This is something you may see our runners today kind of picking up more heart pieces because this is tournament hard open. The, for lack of a better term, like the heart placements are changed. Sorry, there's more heart pieces than there are heart containers. Words are hard.
Yep, we have a mode where we have Sank Heart, either 3 or 4 regular heart containers, I forget which it is, and then 48 pieces of heart. The name Open Heart Surgery may have come up a time or two because you're stitching together those 48 pieces of heart to have something that resembles a real health pool by the end of the seed.
Ooh, I like that. I like that name. This is the first I've heard of it, but I really enjoy that. All right, so P-Train decided to take all of the funding that he already had, went down to purchase bombs from the shop. Jesse picking up Bottle Vendor along the way to do the same. But, while I like P-Train's decision to do it, I hate Jesse's decision to do it. Just go ham and, dive the well blind. Come on, man.
Well, now both of them are going to be able to dive the well with bombs instead. You're not leaving anything behind in the early game. And yeah, you would have had the immediate bailout. Look at
that. Immediately, though. See, but here's the thing. P-Train made the right decision. Jesse, I mean, they both made the same decision. I was trying to make a joke about, Jesse making a wrong decision, but it's not working.
That's fine. I'm sure he'll do that eventually, and then you'll be right there to catch him on it.
Mm-hmm. No, I can't. I honestly can't wait. Also, I am absolutely entranced by P-Train's sprite.
Yep, that bobblehead sprite is a wonderful, terrible meme sprite. It was really amusing in the game where Jesse was using the Silva Gunner high-quality video game music MSU pack, and between the bobblehead sprite and the MSU pack, chat went absolutely bonkers. We finally found memes that chat will not accept. I did not believe the day was ever coming.
I am shooketh, to say the least. Hey, also, we got boots.
Yeah, handy dandy, fancy footwear, gotta go fast.
Yeah, insert various other footwear memes here. So, you know, P-Train taking this this back of tavern here, really not a whole lot of actual progressive items here in Kakariko. You know, the boots give us bonk rocks, and yes, we have a shovel, but unless, you know, they lead to things, you know, Kak kind of a bit of a bus.
Well,
Oh,
Boots
never mind.
was a pretty good start.
Yep. Hi. There's a thing. So, how do you feel about Back of Escape?
Yeah, Back of Escape's pretty good with those boots. It's also a good excuse to pick up bonk rocks. You may want to do race game first, otherwise the flute is going to be hanging out there for a little bit. Since you're already
Now,
going to be halfway back up the village, maybe you're just going to dash the rest of the way and go pick up bonk rocks. I'm not sure which would be faster in that scenario.
yeah, I'm not sure either. I'll be curious to see if Jesse does race game blind. I know we've had the discussion of if you get an early shovel to just go ahead and do race game blind because you'd have to run down to the shovel anyway. But yeah, no, okay, so there we go. Making that point actually make sense.
Yeah, you're going to be walking back off of that screen either way. You still save a little time if you just scout it and it's nothing, but in the scenario where it is something, then you're just bleeding more time than you would otherwise.
Right. Well, hey there.
Another
So,
Moon Pearl on Shovel. It seems to be Moon Pearl on Shovel week in Link to the Past Rando.
yeah. Okay, so we see a bit more divergence here. P-Train opted to go ahead and get the shovel first, turn it in, and then is going to go back to Sank, get his bonk rocks on the way to activating his flute. And Jesse instead went back up. He's going to get his Moon Pearl from the dig spot a little bit later. I kind of dig P-Train's decision here. Oh, well, even more?
And now you really do, because that is the end of the initial Dark World Access care package. P-Train going to be in really good shape going into the village, activating the flute. Would not be at all surprising to then just see a play directly into the Dark World at 3.
Yeah, and honestly, this is really nice too, because then he's following that glove into the back of Escape as well. Gonna get these 3 checks fairly quickly. He'll still have to go back because he didn't activate that flute, but we've got an ice rod, we've got bombs, we've got a small key. Technically speaking, that nice shovel dash. That fire rod puts the puts Dark Cross into logic from the back of Escape, since we got that small key and there's torches along the way.
And that may have been the advantage to Jesse's uncle route that he still has not taken advantage of. Having a little magic would have had that fire rod available. When you don't have anything more convenient than the boots or the hammer to kick up a little dust with, doing those early dark rooms, especially trying to find that rat in the dark, ooh, not fun.
Yeah, and honestly, the only weapon that P-Train would have to be able to kill that rat is the hammer at this point. So, ick. Good luck.
I mean, you could throw some bombs around in the dark and pray, but that's a lot of
But-
ammunition you can expend before you ever find the rat.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't... Oh, it's icky, to say the least. I am a little surprised to not see P-Train pushing that, that kind of Dark World advantage, if you will. But I also 100% understand, like, you don't want to leave these Sphere 1 checks for very long, and you don't have a mirror to make doing this with Height Cave, you know, nice and fluid.
Yeah, and you still have the flute, so you can still get back to 3 or to 4. You can have your pick of those 2 Dark World access points pretty much whenever. But as you were saying,
Right.
without the mirror, it can be a little difficult to go ahead and pick up these early locations if you don't just go ahead and knock them out right now.
Yeah. P.S. P-Train giving us that map check. We have Pendant Eastern and Desert, and then Blue Crystal Hera. Jesse avidly avoids map checks. I don't know what map hurt him, like got a paper cut or something, but Jesse just really hates maps. I don't know.
I can understand in some ways, sometimes you just want to feel led by what the seed is giving you, what it feels like or looks like it is making available to you, rather than thinking, oh, well, that's a pendant. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, but my Endium, you're using logical thought processes that I don't want to give Jesse credit for.
So what we're saying is this is a no think only go situation. Got it.
Yeah. All right, here we go. P-Train entering the Dark World. We should have our full information here about maps and crystals and all that good stuff. Looks like Green Pendant Swamp and 5-6 Pod and Ice.
Odd, nice. All right, so bit of a low-powered light world from the perspective of accomplishing much of anything. Tower of Hera still takes a little more doing just to get to. The Eastern Palace you can walk right on in, and the game can put pretty much whatever it wants there.
Yeah, this is very true. And it's kind of one of those dungeons that, you know, with the boots that our runners have, like, it's not completely awful for them to go into Eastern, but it's Eastern just is, with its linearity, it's so bad to have to double dip if you need to.
Now, here's one of those things about the tournament open hard setting. This is the one mode out of the 5 that we're using for this tournament that does not have the new style progressive bows. We've kind of gone back to 2017, 2018 here. The bow and the silvers are separate items, and you look at that pendant Eastern and you think, well, you know, the bow locks me out of the boss, but I don't want to go to the boss anyway. But what if the bow's just in there? It's not like I'm going to find another one somewhere else.
So, if it comes down to it, which with Dark World Access, there's plenty of other things to do, but if it were to come down to it, I wouldn't be completely opposed to, if you check Saha's Closet, dip into Eastern. At this point in the seed, though, with Dark World Access and so much available, I would be hard-pressed to do so.
Dig Game absolutely bailing P-Train out here. All of these small magic decanters popping out. Suddenly he's got half a bar of magic, where he had nothing before.
Yeah. And Jesse having a moment there of, you know, am I going to leave now that I have this hammer, go immediately to Dark World? No, wait, back of escape, let's do that real quick.
Which is going to work out for him. He's going to pick up that ice rod. We know now, having seen the Dark World map check, that that is going to be a required item. So not an ice rod hunt today. Surprisingly enough, we have an early ice rod, and TR is a crystal for once.
Ooh. And Jesse is going for this Dark Cross here from the back. So using his one shot, insert joke about Hamilton and not throwing away your shot. All right, so he has his... Phew, okay.
Has the one
Got a
truly
small
dangerous
key.
item out of the way. Got the key off of the rat.
Yeah.
Now you just have to go ahead and finagle your way the rest of the way in.
Yeah, you have to kind of navigate your way to the chest here, which, because we don't... Actually, Sanctuary had a map, if I remember correctly. So,
Yes, it did.
yeah, this isn't too bad. Wow. Okay.
Very cleanly done. One full heart container.
I'm so proud. Meanwhile, good things happening on P-Train side. We got front of escape happening. We know there's 3 items here. Let's see what we get.
Just 2 now after we see those 10 sticks. That's not the kind of thing you're looking for, but going to go ahead and wrap up the front of the escape sequence. This is one of those things in an open mode where a lot of runners can be convinced to put this off pretty much indefinitely, and instead here's P-Train. We're not even 14 minutes in. Just gonna go ahead and knock it out.
Yeah, not having done Uncle, that does kind of incentivize him a bit to come this way. You know, you have, in addition to the 3, well, for P-Train, 4 checks in the front with Dark Cross, you have Uncle as well. So 6 chests in this area. Yes, it's a bit of a time commitment, but Boots makes it a lot better.
Now, as he's closing in on cell to cell here, I've seen a lot of swords here over the course of this tournament, so 3... Oh, he's going to set up the death warp. It's going to be more than 3 seconds, but here we go. 3, 2, 1, sword.
Oh, baby. Hello, Warlock.
The Mindium School of Magecraft and Warlockry open today.
Well, and, you know, P-Train does have the magic to be able to do Dark Cross the logical way if he wants to, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to just see him, like, power his way through the first 2, being this kind of rat hallway here, and then the snake/rope hallway, followed pretty quickly by, you know, going up into Dark Cross, fire routing the torch in that bottom right there, just so you can see the chest quicker. But early sword like that, and it's going to be a while, if at all, that Jesse gets that sword, truthfully.
That is one of those dangers of making the Uncle route, where you've kind of pared down your density in that area a little bit, and then on top of it, you've already gone in and done Dark Cross from the back. You know there are the 3 items in the front, but you've got Palace of Darkness available to you. You can go over and get into the Village of Outcasts, Skull Woods area. You have a lot of what you would think are better options by and large.
Right. Now, I'm wondering too, yeah, okay, so we're gonna see kind of a synced up visit into VOO here. The primary difference being that P-Train does have that sword advantage. So for P-Train, unless a second sword is here in VOO, you know, this blind fight upcoming here from Thieves Town, because I'm just kind of assuming that's where we're gonna go. No, it's gonna be fairly inconsequential, whereas Jesse may potentially have to do some swordless shenanigans.
And I'm mildly interested in the fact that P-Train has decided to go this way rather than Skull Woods, which is where Jesse's going without a sword. P-Train with that sword in hand can absolutely full clear Skull here.
Well, and I know for me personally, you know, having done, you know, Hype Cave West, right? You are more incentivized to go north after VOO. And for Jesse, it takes so long to have to pick up those bushes to go through to VOO. And whereas P-Train's gonna get this, he's gonna finish out Thieves Town, and then he'll go north into Skull Woods, potentially with another sword, half magic, various things. Actually, no half magic, but you get the idea.
Yeah, that's certainly reasonable. The thought that I was having was more, we don't have anything that's going to make the North Dark World look better, at least for the moment. Now, if you pull something like a mirror here, then all of that goes right out the window. But looking at the equipment set that they walked in on, I was thinking, well, you can kind of do them either way, and from P-Train's perspective, we can go ahead and push the sword advantage, get into the back of Skull Woods, go ahead and knock out a relatively quick crystal. Yeah, either way is going to work.
Well, hello, Mitts. French vanilla.
Ah, tasty, and a vanilla big key to go along with it.
Yeah, Guy McGuy, that was a thought that had crossed my mind, truthfully, but knowing these guys like I do, they're not going to be put off by fighter sword / hammer skull woods. You know, they're more than comfortable with taking down Moth without a stronger sword. So that's kind of why I wasn't necessarily thinking the sword advantage. It would make it easier, but I don't think that's the reason or thought process behind it.
Yeah, and I'm one of those strange people who finds Hammer Mothula fun, and so I was just thinking, well, I'll go right up there, I'll just cut the vines with the sword, and then we're gonna get the hammer out, and the moth's gonna go with whack, 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 and we're done here. Easy game.
You know, that's that is very brave of you. No, I didn't quite realize it until a second ago that we did find 3 items here in the front of Thieves, so there's only 1 item remaining in the back here. And I'll be honest, P-Train may have just gotten it from the attic, and I 100% missed it if he did.
Well, we'll see. First, if he continues opening things, and second, if he finds anything if he does.
Right. You know, I'm very curious to see here, you know, how Jesse's gonna feel with this this hammer blind. You know, I know that like he's done some swordless practice, but it's not his favorite thing in the world. There's our 4th item.
Yeah, the only bottle we're going to see, because unless he dies up here in the top somehow and does not get down there and finds a bottle somewhere else, that's the one that Jesse's going to get too. That seems highly unlikely, of course. But stranger things have happened. Sometimes the crickets are just hungry.
Yeah, you know, sometimes they just really, really need some water in a dry space here. All right, so P-Train with the sword, a really like script-tastic, if you will, phase 1 and 2. Phase 3 got slightly away, but not to the point of danger.
Yeah, as long as you get through the first 2 properly, you haven't taken any hits yet, you've got your health to use as a little bit of a resource. Even if you fall off script slightly in Phase 3, not really a problem. P-Train goes ahead, cleans the thing up, easy game.
Agreed. Looks like we're gonna get hammer pegs here. Forgetting the smith for now, which is totally fine. I don't hate the idea of picking up the smith if say Jesse were to opt to pick up the smith after Thieves Town. But P-Train, you know, has Skullwoods completely available at this point, so that could be why, and I'm just, you know, forgetting things while I'm saying them the first time.
That lack of a sword still wreaking a bit of havoc on Jesse here in the back of this. Everybody wants to be in the way.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and Smirk also pointing out in chat, you know, Jesse's not going to be able to dash the pegs. This is very true. You do need to have a sword to be able to hammer dash. So if Jesse does decide to do this, he's going to be doing it the slow way.
The long, slow, annoying way, yep.
Yeah, the feels kind of bad way.
So, let's see, hammer blind.
Alrighty. 1, 2. Alright. So
3 took a hot second, but we're okay. We haven't taken any damage yet.
Yeah. So far, so good. That
phase 2 was better than the first. All right, now we're taking a hit. We've taken a couple of hits. We need one more of our own.
Oh,
and there it is. And meanwhile,
and then
P-Train, having a little bit of an elevator ride from the hand there, got trapped between the statue. 2 Gibdos had nowhere to go. No, that's not true. He could have just stepped back a little bit, but was maybe a little too greedy trying to get the statue into position?
I've definitely had that before. So I feel that on P-Train's side, but I also respect him just saying, forget it, let's just go to the back for now, and if there's something there, I'll get it on my way back through. You know, we have to maybe apologize a slight bit here for confusing some folks in chat because we were calling Radical Sniper Jesse. That's what he typically does go by, while his game handle is RadicalSniper99. My Indium and I, we know him quite well. He goes by Jesse primarily most of the time. Words.
Yep, there's been some conversation a time or two about whether it's time for him to go ahead and change the handle. And as yet, it has not happened. But yeah, that's what's going on there.
Look, Jesse, the people want it. It's time. All right, so Jesse's doing what I thought P-Train was going to do because I totally forgot that P-Train had a beatable Skull Woods. You know, he is grabbing the Smith and will be fluting after King's Tomb, whereas P-Train had a pretty good Hammer Moth fight.
Yep, another one of those situations. There were certainly some up hammers there where P-Train was using health as a resource, getting into a position to use the very, very terrible up hammer hitbox, and being in position by virtue of having already taken damage, so the Moth can't knock you away again.
This is true. Yeah, and good point from our amazing tracker, GFE. Jesse able to get Sick Kid in here as well. For nothing.
The week's lunch money. Even the small child chipping in.
You know, feels sad, man. We're so pitiable that the sick child gives us its allowance.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Jesse, where are you going after this, buddy? Mire area, it looks like, with a quick desert ledge check on the way. I like this.
Oh, absolutely. You get to get a little information here. You may even be able to go into Mire if it's Bombos.
Yeah, see, I don't like that because he doesn't have a sword.
Yeah, well, GFE would be able to go in. And now there could just be another sword in here. This is not one that I'm calling, but it would be that kind of bailout on my supposition that Jesse was going to be able to go in there. Nope.
No.
Not so much.
Well, I like that it was GFE would be able to go in. Not P-Train, but GFE.
Teammates are fungible, right?
That's fine. So meanwhile, K's in on the left side of the screen.
Well, it's kind of in the vague dark link color scheme, I guess, so we're close.
So, P-Train just got the Cane of Samaria, by the way.
That's a convenient thing to have. Again, the ability to go into Misery Mire there is really even more on the table. How badly do you want to do Fighter Sword Vitreous with essentially no backups aside from bombs?
You don't. Just
at all,
stop.
ever.
You don't.
Nope. Saying nope.
Alright, so Ether in Saha's closet here. Jesse not dipping Eastern right now. Instead going to Agina. So finishing out these Sphere 1 checks, if you will.
Looks like a good time to wind up hot off of a save and quit here. Where do you really want to go after this, though?
I mean, for Jesse, what does he have? He has 3 checks in the front of Escape. He has Eastern and Pod.
And 1 logical check on the mountain. It's all kind of bad. I could see the play over to Eastern Pod, but we just said no to the Eastern play, so I kind of feel like he's against it. And this looks like the front of Escape play.
Yeah, and this, I think, this makes a lot of sense. You know, you were just in the eastern area, you said no. And then, you know, if you're saying no to eastern, you're going to try to say no to pod also until you find a bow. So I respect this decision. Meanwhile, that one check that you had logically on the mountain, P-Train's doing the nearby out of logic check in leading an old man home.
Certainly a more convenient check when you have something like the sword to sparkle light your way. You can't see where you're going, but at least it gives you your position. And for runners like this, that's more than enough.
Very true. And just getting a shield for his time, so at least we know that while Old Man was lost in the dark, he was at least safe-ish doing so.
Yeah, that will be the one shield that we see, at least on P-Train's side. It's possible that Jesse could find one of the other ones, but we are limited to the fighter shield in this item pool.
This is very true. And Red Ring inside Spec Rock and P-Train saying, nah, I'm good. Going to... I guess P-Train didn't do Ice Rod Cave earlier?
Going to pick up Ice Rod Cave. May have also left some of the fake flipperage behind that I feel like Jesse did, if I'm not misremembering from another seed.
That makes sense. I was going to say, I wouldn't be completely shocked either with Swamp being a pendant. I wouldn't be completely shocked either to see P-Train go ahead and do this water walk into Ice Palace. Again, you know, fighter sword / cold stare, or fighter sword / hammer cold stare is kind of disgusting, but it's doable.
Going to, at the very least, pick off Waterfall Fairy first, maybe try and refill that bottle if there's nothing interesting in it already. Since all bottles in this mode come empty, it was probably empty.
Looked like a fairy?
Yeah, fairy vending fairies.
Okay. So not bad. I will say Jesse did not get Zora earlier because of lack of funding. P-Train having the same issue. Piecing in and then piecing out and walking back down. I'm pretty sure this is going to be an ice play. I'm a dirty, dirty liar, apparently. Oboe then ice?
Yeah, that's possible. Reasonably easy to fake flipper out here.
Yeah. I feel like if you're in this area and you're taking the time to do all these water checks, why not go ahead and go into ice since you know / hope that you're not going to find the flippers anytime soon.
Yeah, rather than fake flippering out, even if you want to go to ice, I guess you can save and quit here and just flute back to 8. That's probably faster, since you would be in a fake flipper state. You're not going to be able to stand up on that shallow water and flute.
This is true. Oh,
or you could just go over to the eastern pod, sure. That'll work too.
Jesse, what is this torch situation here? Buddy. I mean, you know, okay. This is fine, I suppose. I get the worry, GFE. I don't know if I'm as concerned that Jesse won't get the last item. I think as far as Jesse and his checks available, he's kind of getting down to not having very much left. And so I think that he'll know that there's still an item here. I would be shocked to see him leave. But this moth is not being kind, to say the least.
I am stunned that Jesse got out from behind that moth. That looked like sure death.
I am...
And now it is. These fakes are just going to say no. It's not the moth, it's the room.
It is. It really is. Like, Moth is 100%, you know, I don't want to say free, but a lot easier to deal with if there was either A, the moving floor with no spikes, or B, the spikes with no moving floor. Having all of it together, and then green mail on top of it, which, you know, Moth is going to do 2 hearts of damage. It's not a good time.
Yeah, the fact that the Moth gets to cheat and take no damage anytime it bounces against the spikes is not really ideal.
Like, I get it, but at the same time, like, ugh.
Round 2, the Moth took round 1. Looks like it's going to sit in the middle-ish of the room here. Oh, and yeah, now we've got a couple of pretty free hammer hits in there. One more will do the trick. There it is.
There we
Easy
go.
game. First try every time.
Much nicer situation. I do want to throw out there, P-Train went to Mire area, has the ability to go into Misery Mire, but opted to save and quit, and is finally doing that fake flipper into Ice Palace that we had mentioned earlier.
Fighter Sword with Fire Rod, Cold Stare over the Fighter Sword, Hammer, and Bombs, Vitreous. I get it. You're really hoping that any nice thing comes out. A bow would be lovely. A second sword would be wonderful.
And let's be real here, that Bombos plus Fire Rod combo makes Cold Stare a negligible fight. Like, it's not... I'm not saying it's free, but it's not nearly the situation it could be. I've never seen that version of the bomb strat for Pengator Room. That was really nice.
That was really interesting. Just lay them. They were very slightly offset, but they're more offset in time than in space, and it works. Interesting.
Yeah, that was really cool. And a blink and you miss at Ice Break.
Yeah, just do a couple of sword buffers and go right through the gigantic barrier, because why not? The game thinks you're in a door, and it tries to force you out of the door.
Yeah. That was... oh, man. Just, you know, P-Train showing exactly why he is good at this game. You know.
Yeah, just casually do the thing.
Just... see that thing? Yeah, he's doing it.
Let's see if he does my favorite clip in the game. No, it looks like this is going to be hammer around the room strats.
Good old hammer around the room. I feel like there's a song there. But...
it probably goes to the theme of the Zelda 1 Overworld music.
Alright, so far though, this ice is looking a bit boring, I guess is the word?
Yeah, what we've seen a couple of items already, and it was money and more money.
Yeah. So at this point, it's iced tea or cold stare. And I mean, we're looking for still a good chunk of things here. There's the cane for Jesse. So, I mean, actually, when you think about it, yes, we need a hook shot, but with boots, both of these guys can hover. So, that's not going to be something that they're going out of their way to look for. Same thing with flippers. Mirror's not necessarily a guarantee.
Yeah, it's bow, maybe Quake, depending. We haven't seen Turtle Rock yet.
We're bow, maybe Quake, and some sort of East Death Mountain access, whether that's hookshot or mirror.
Yep. Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah. Alright, Jesse, following P-Train in here. Did we see Jesse by chance purchase a goo before he came? Because his magic situation is a lot lower, it looks like. Or not magic, sorry. Money situation.
Yeah, it looks like chat's going to catch us there. Yes, a blue potion purchased, apparently.
Thanks, chat. Y'all the real MVPs. Alright,
And going to
so
get about 2/3 of that back from the drops we know about in Ice Palace.
this is true. I really like this on P-Train's side. You know, he's sticking his sword out to extend that hammer hitbox here. This is kind of mentioned before, but it can sometimes get a little bit... Well, no, because fighter sword pokes don't do anything as far as I'm aware.
Those will do nothing.
Yep, so no harm, no foul there. Picking up crystal number 3 for P-Train.
100 rupees between 2 rupee drops and a piece of heart. Yeah, that sounds like the tournament open hard mode to me.
Yeah. And GFE is right, you know? It's Eastern Pod or Mire at this point. A purple chest?
And P-Train making the call. We have all of the access. Let's go see Mire.
Oh, that's a good point. Zora as well.
Yeah, Zora with what cash money? P-Train, having not bought the potion, is closing in on 400, but we're still not anywhere close to that Zora money.
Man, I'm just gonna be really curious to see where our progression is here. Ugh.
I just have that sneaking suspicion that everybody's left it behind in Sphere 1 back there in Eastern Palace.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more likely. I mean, something about 5-6 pod being completely useless, but yeah. Oh, never mind. There's a mirror in Misery Mire.
So, access to Tower of Hera, access to Eastern Mountain, that's pretty handy.
Access to, gosh, everything it feels like at this point on the mountain, because you can also hit up Turtle Rock. You can get, yeah, that's, we're in bow mode at this point. Bow and sword, technically.
I would be awfully tempted not to push my luck with a play to Fighter Sword Hammer Vitreous here, having found that mirror and unlocking essentially everything. But
Yeah,
P-Train's a whole lot better at this game than I am, so he may well go for it.
Yeah, I agree though with the idea of find big key.
Yep, find your big key first, and then you can make your decision. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
also,
really nice
those fire rod strats there from Jesse were just lovely. Just kind of get the little spooky action fire rod splash damage and have all 3 cold stare puffs fall apart at the same time.
Yeah, that was really, really nice. Wait. Shoot, I'm supposed to be dissing him. Gosh, Jesse, you couldn't have killed him faster? Way to go.
What did you buy the potion for?
Alright, so P-Train has found Big Key. No second item yet. And is piecing out. Yeah, I like this decision, truthfully.
Go ahead, take the mirror, check Checkerboard Cave since you're in the area. That's something that I probably would have forgotten about, but P-Train remembered.
Could also dip desert here too, but when you have an entire mountain and you're 1/2 items from go mode, and I say a half with the sword, maybe more like 1.67 or something like that, because you know the idea of Quake being what's it called also? Turtle Rock?
Possible, and it's a good time to go up here and find the information in addition to all of the other things that you get to do.
Yeah.
Hoping to find the bow. You'd like to find another sword or two, preferably.
I was going to say also, I would not be shocked to see P-Train maybe dip Hera, but not necessarily go super duper far, since you can mirror and do it before GT. And if you find a hook shot along the way, then great. But also, I think it's going to depend what key situation we find here. Which, ooh.
Small key, so unless we have a big key in the big chest, then you're in a situation where you have to go to the basement just to climb it all. Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree with this play completely and totally.
You've already found an item. If you find the hook shot somewhere else, then you get to bypass all of those shenanigans later. Save yourself a good 45 seconds to a minute.
Mm-hmm. Alright, floating island. Just some hot garbage, honestly. Yeah, and we see Jesse kind of following P-Train's footsteps here. But it looks like Jesse is going for cutscene chest, so if this is a bow as the last item in Mire, this could be huge for Jesse. This could be the swing that he would need.
Yeah, even some of the other outstanding but not required things could make this a little better for him.
I 100% forgot about that rule for tournament hard open.
Which one?
Not a bow.
The
Not
bow.
a bow. The bow. Oh, last item on Biddy.
The compass. Alright, not what you're looking for.
Look. Oh, hey, look.
There's our cash money. Look at that. Just go to the mountain.
We found all the cash. Yay. That timing was hilarious on that bomb throw there.
It could have only been more interesting if the mini Moldorms had been closing in and run into the explosion as well, since the explosion radius when you're throwing a bomb is interesting.
It's a great way to say it. Okay, so Paradox Cave just having cash and life here.
Maybe Dark Mountain's going to be a little more interesting.
Jesse's going for it.
Okay, Jesse's going for it. Having already have a split decision with Mothula is going to make the attempt at the Fighter Sword Hammer Vitreous.
I have so many feelings about this.
This is a choice.
Yeah. He does have the blue goo. He did not use it for Cold Stare. Yeah, we've got 5 bombs here. Alright, we got P-Train going for the hover here. And there's a Master Sword in the kind of first hoverable chest, aka chest 4 of Hookshot Cave. At this point, just leave, Jesse. Just leave. No! Oh. Ugh. I don't like
He's already
this.
made it through the hard room, but now the safety for the boss fight is gone.
Yeah. Welcome, SpeedGaming 5, folks. I hope the match with John versus Gilgamesh went well. Alright, so that sword, that second sword being the only thing really in Hookshot Cave other than some more cash.
Convenient thing to find, no doubt about it. And we need ether. Ether required for Turtle Rock, which both of our runners already have.
Yeah, oh man, I'm feeling more and more Monka about this decision by Jesse here. But if he can pull it off, you know, more power to him, but this is not going to be an easy fight.
It's not going to be an easy fight. It's not going to be a quick fight.
No, it's not.
Using all 4 bombs, and now it's time to spin to win. Master Sword, or rather, the Fighter Sword slashes, not going to do a thing to these eyeballs.
Meanwhile, P-Train taking that advantage here, which, by the way, you know, pointing out on Jesse's side here, we see how he is kind of seemingly up in the goo. If you hug that right wall and you're up in the goo there, it does not give you any damage. Oh gosh, how many spins per eyeball? Let me look that information up for you.
Gobs and gobs, I want to say something like 8. That is just kind of an eyeball guesstimate, as it were.
I see what you did there. Gamma says 12 spins, and I'm inclined...
Okay, I could believe it.
Yeah, that is...
Yeah, we still don't have an eyeball down. We've now taken 2 hits. We are now Oko from anything on Jesse's side.
Ooh, dude. And there it is. Okay, that's... Ugh. Just leave. Just leave. It takes so long.
Considers the save and quit, thinks, no, you know what, I've got the mirror, I can flute from somewhere to, well, anywhere, really.
Yeah, he's really not going to be feeling great about this right now, between, you know, that Viddy and then Moth as well earlier. This isn't great.
Then P-Train has found the blue cane here in Turtle Rock, the only thing that's really changed his tracker thus far.
Hey, you know, good old Spike Cave.
Yeah, makes it a logical play. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Oh, but man, this is... I mean, we're seriously just in, where is our bow?
I'm still holding on to whatever hope that I have for it to be an Eastern Palace. I feel like we've left something behind in Sphere 1.
Gosh, it'd be so gross. Watch it be hookshot in Eastern.
That would be an interesting bit of placement.
Hello, Raiders from SpeedGaming 4. I want to say that was the Freddy Julo Ninja match. I could totally be wrong about that, but that sounds right in my brain. And I hope it was an excellent match as well. Yeah, so if you're just joining us, this is Game 3 of RadicalSniper99, aka Jesse, versus P-Train. Right now, we are looking for the bow in Tournament Hard Open. Jesse having had attempted a vitreous fight and it not, unfortunately, going his way. P-Train opting to get the big key, finish checking the front, and piecing out. Has now made his way to the mountain and is going through Turtle Rock.
Oh, interesting. Here's a little point of divergence. P-Train, after getting the one item and the small key at the beginning of Tower of Hera, decided to leave the rest of it for later. Jesse is going to go ahead and make the play, pick up the big key out of the basement, and finish the dungeon while he's here.
I don't dislike this. The smirk, please. I I do dislike this, but I also don't dislike this. I feel like in Jesse's situation, you've had 2 really bad deaths. And so, you know, he's probably thinking, like, I've got to make some semblance of plays to make up time here. And maybe Big Chest is what he's thinking here.
Yeah, it's an entirely reasonable one. And sometimes if you find that hookshot somewhere else, you can get really punished by herapotting past a progression item in that big chest. So if you are the Radical Sniper fan, if you're a Jesse partisan, you're kind of hoping that maybe the bow is hanging out in this big chest.
Yeah. Meanwhile, P-Train did just find flippers on Laser Bridge, and that's the only thing, minus the, required small key and a tempered sword that he found. Although, tempered sword.
Tempered sword, not bad. The mirror plus those flippers, now we can look in the non-hookshot locked portions of Swamp Palace for our bow, potentially. That's kind of disgusting.
Yeah? Oh. So that's kind of a feels bad big chest, but if hookshot's on Moldorm, then point is moot because you wouldn't have been able to Herapot up here anyway.
Sometimes you try and jump into the arena and the worm just says no. P-Train getting the compass, we'd already seen everything else in Turtle Rock, so yeah, those flippers, how far do you want to chase those when you still have some other options on the table?
Alright, so nothing in Hera here. I'm assuming we're going to see a nice high 5 here.
Seems likely. Eastern Mountain's still on the table for Jesse in its entirety. P-Train coming back, I would have to think that this is going to be picking up Spike with the mirror out, maybe going to also go ahead and pinch off Hera.
Yeah.
Says, I tried to find the hookshot first, I didn't find it, I want to go ahead and clean this up while I'm up here, let's just get it on out of the way.
Okay, so P-Train is going ahead, yeah, and doing exactly what you just said. Meanwhile, Jesse going into, or I should say going into the Dark World portal at TR, I'm trying to decide how I feel about this, truthfully. Because this means, unless you're going to go down Spiral here and then come back up through Paradox, this means you're making a decision. Okay, never mind.
That seems to be the choice he's made.
Alright, this isn't as bad as I thought then. Because then you just go up through Paradox, you dip into the back of Super Bunny, but at the same time, this was going to be a situation where I was worried that he was going to have to make a decision between Spiral and Spike.
And he's safely closed off that possibility by just mirroring up the top. He'll have that portal there, can hop right on back into it after clearing out the Light World stuff.
Yep, this is very true. Jesse? I'm really glad that he remembered that he only had one bomb there. Oh. P-Train did not like that setup there for his bomb situation.
If it doesn't look right, you are better off backing out and trying it again than chancing it and falling 2 floors. Not fun to have to climb back up.
No, not at all. No, the more this seed is progressing, though, the more likely this This leaving something in Eastern decision is becoming a reality.
P-Train up to 5 crystals already. We are at the hour mark, 5 crystals already. The seed has been reasonably generous with the ability to clear out the crystal dungeons that you've got to do. We say that, of course, and then we've got the bow outstanding before Palace of Darkness can ever be a cause for concern.
This is true. It is good to note, though, that as far as for, you know, completing the game with glitches go mode, Pyramid Fairy is dead to us at this point, because Pyramid Fairy cannot have our bow. So, speaking of that, have either of them checked Pyramid Ledge?
I don't think anybody has really headed in that direction in the Dark World, so Pyramid Ledge, Catfish, the pod area, kind of all written off, at least for the moment.
Just imagine that... Just imagine that bow is sitting right on Pyramid Ledge, dude.
There is literally nothing in the logic preventing it.
Oh, man, there's not, but gross, man. How gross. Oh, Jesse was close there.
He is attempting to even up these swords with the hover, picks up that pot, grabs the heart, and that, I guess, was intentional, going to go ahead and go into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, this is not... If it wasn't intentional to pick up the heart, then he just said, alright, forget it.
P-Train now back in Mire, has gained 2 swords since the last time. This is going to be a reasonably easy victorious fight, as long as you don't lose too many hearts kind of yutzing around in the dark.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue here for P-Train. Like you said, it's all about how many hearts he does end up losing here in these first few dark checks, but I don't see this going terribly for him at all. I don't know if he wants to set up the spooky in the dark. Yeah, to recap a little bit. So the first time P-Train came to Mire, he found Mire in the bridge chest, decided to find the big key, and cleared out the rest of the front minus cutscene chest. Left with the mirror, checked Checkerboard Cave. Hey, spooky in the dark.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I can interrupt you for a second, that was a lovely spooky in the dark by P-Train there.
It's so nice. But yeah, so we'll get some iframes off of the goop here. Almost a 0 cycle.
And kind of hiding down in this corner where you can get some of these double spins in on the eyeball as it bounces back towards you. Very cleanly done.
Yes.
And it's all victorious. You were never going to have the bow to fight the boss. So, P-Train in go mode.
Yep, at 1 hour, 2 minutes, and I believe 50-ish seconds. P-Train has hit, I should say hover go mode, or bounce go mode.
Yeah, given what we saw him do already in the hoverable section of Hookshot Cave, I think it's pretty safe to say that he's going to play this like go mode, and if he happens to land on the hookshot while he's looking for, say, the pod big key or the GT big key, he's not going to complain, but this is a situation that he's more than comfortable with.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, just, I gotta say, that really sucked on Jesse's side. He just got sniped by the eye laser going through the door to the vanilla big key chest in Turtle Rock. That was 17 kinds of rude.
One of the more casually dangerous things in the game. You have to really pay a little more attention than you think maybe you should have to get through that door without the eye going, snipe.
Yeah. This is just... ick. Like, it just feels... It just feels so rude. Hookshot is, I believe, possible in right side GT basement. And it could even be as far as fire bar room.
P-Train going ahead and warming up for the Moldorm 2 hover with a much more difficult one. Gets the first half of it, but not the second. Gonna give it another go.
Yeah, went for 2 and said no mo.
Going to go ahead and faceplant into a door here.
Yep, I was gonna say. Not gonna work out the way that he had probably hoped, but that's okay.
We've all done it a time or two. At least it's not the door to the boss, where then the game gives you the gigantic text box saying, "Hey Dingus, you need something here."
Yep. So, while we're kind of watching P-Train finish through here, looking for the big key for Pod and then going to fight a Helmasaur King, I got a piece of information, as we could have had a God Pod here, a piece of information that you might find very interesting. So, one of the raids came from SpeedGaming 5, right? Which was John versus Gilgamesh. So, I got sent the final screens from both players. IGT 131.22 for both runners.
Alright, that sounds like a bit of a game.
Collection rate 143 for both runners. And I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say what the RTA is in case anybody is interested in watching how that turned out with that piece of information, because even though IGTs might be you know, the exact same, it doesn't necessarily mean anything as far as the end result goes.
Yep, could have been more or fewer save and quits on one side. It could have then also been some routing on one side or the other, but
yeah,
that sounds like the kind of thing people may want to go have a look at here at some point.
Yeah, that sounds like a seed to absolutely, or a race to absolutely go back and watch for sure.
Jesse now pulling his second sword there off of Laser Bridge, also going to get the flippers before leaving, I would think. Just in case, because you never know. From his perspective, it could absolutely be another sword.
Yeah, I hope for Jesse's sake, though. Okay, this is fine. He took the safety door on purpose. That is 100% just salt in the wound on P-Train's side.
Oh, here, have the cape?
Oh, here, have the cape after having to do, you know, Viddy, potentially with a much worse situation. But, you know, thankfully.
But cape or no cape, that is also the 7th crystal on the board for P-Train. Sub 1 hour and 10 minutes, and he is on his way to Ganon's Tower.
Oh boy, it's game time, ladies and gentlemen. There are 22 locations within the Ganon's Tower basement where the big key can be. Get your numbers in chat, make predictions, and win some internet points and free rando seeds.
Jesse was in a little bit of a spicy position there. The neck was extending and is definitely in Oko range on Greenmail. That Trinex will happily do 4 hearts of damage to you.
It's a bit scary, to say the least. Ooh. Bring around the Trinex.
It's an easy game. It cleans up fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. Alright, my Indium, where do you want to see the big key today?
Oh, I figure we're looking at something like Compass Room top right.
Compass Room top right. That's not bad. I'm gonna
in
see.
fairness to me, I haven't been right about anything except for that first Sword and Zelda cell, but that's going to be the one thing that lives on in this from clips, so I feel okay about my choices.
I would love to see Rando Room big key, because Hookshot has just been sitting in Pennant Eastern this entire time. And because I enjoy chaos. Are we sure these players can hover? I mean, if you direct your attention to the right side of your screen. And we did see Jesse, make an attempt at a hover. I will say that Jesse is not as practiced with his hovers as P-Train would be. However, he does, when he can get the groove, he does have the ability to do so. It's just getting that groove. Alright, Jesse is going back for Vitreous here. Going to get his go mode. This is just, I mean, it's a rough situation, honestly, to be in.
Nice little Samaria soccer there from P-Train, going to go ahead and hit the switch that way. Yeah, it's fun. And hey, I'm wrong again. Surprise, surprise.
Well, this is fine. This is fine. So, the dream is still alive. There is actually braining here. Technically, behind Ice Armos and Bob's chest would still be in logic going through the right side, right?
Yes, you could just go full right.
Yeah. But as far as left side goes here, there is only one more in logic check, and it is this one right here in Firebar Room. The game does expect that you can be able to bonk across. Oh, hey. That's
a free sword is what it looks like.
A series of things that could have been. Could have been a sword, could have been armor, or is armor turned into a green or a blue 5?
It becomes difficult to remember what turns into what in this. I know I know the bottles turn into 5s, I know the swords turn into 20s, but I'm a little less clear on what the armor does.
Yeah, armor is money, but we don't know what kind of money. Oh, baby. Come on, Rando Room. Don't make a liar out of me. I didn't even specify a number is the worst part. I just said rando rim. I kind of cheated. Hey!
Well, it was a top right chest. It was just not the one I picked.
Woohoo! Go me!
But that means P-Train is in perfect position to climb the tower here, already has the 2 small keys, and yeah. As long as the hover does not fall apart all of a sudden over at Moldorm 2, is in perfectly good shape, but that means that 100% the hookshot not going to be on the climb. Pretty unlikely that P-Train's going to show us anything else here.
Right. Right, Jesse making use of that blue goo here in his fight number 2 here with Vitreous.
Had intended to have that available for fight number 1, but got into a position where the first dark room was not really cooperating with him, had to go ahead and drain it there just to get to the boss room. And, well, this boss on Green Mail and the Fighter Sword, not so fun.
No. He is having a much better time around here, though, with Hammer and with the Master Sword spins. Taking down Vitreous, getting his bow, probably feeling quite frustrated, let's be honest here, with the fact that if he had managed to beat Vitreous the first time, that bow 100% would have been available so much sooner, and he would have been able to go mode several dungeons here.
Yep, had made the right call by attempting the boss, just the boss got away from him.
I do see some folks trying to guess where the hook would be. The one thing we can guarantee is that the hook shot is not here in the climb. Hook shot cannot be up here because Rando Rim is hook shot locked.
And I'll admit, at the time that our runners were going through Ice Palace, I paid 0 attention to the key layout, so that may well have been hookshot locked as well.
Big Key was vanilla, so since Big Key was vanilla, it was not hookshot locked.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
It's only hookshot locked, and somebody can tell me if I'm wrong here, but it's hookshot locked if Big Key is in either Freezor, Pengator, or Ice-T chests, as well as if you get a small key and Big Key is also in one of those 3 chests or something like that. That's where it starts to get wonky. I think there was a small key in Pengator room and then other things. Small key on right side makes Ice Palace hook lock. Thanks, Smirk. Thanks, GFE. Wait. Okay, never mind. Okay, so there we go. Chat filling us all in on all the things.
Ice Palace key logic, the thing that means more for things that are not an Ice Palace than for things that are.
Correct. Is there a flowchart? Oh, baby. Don't get me started on flowcharts today, guys. Yeah, P-Train nailing the hover second try here. Totally good to go. First try every time, right?
Yeah, the bugged bumper when you hover, yep.
How have I never noticed that before?
I don't know, it's totally a thing.
Does it only happen if you don't kill Moldorm? Like, if you kill Moldorm and then hover, does it not glitch the bumper?
I do not recall right off the top of my head.
Because I've done that hover before, but I tend to kill Moldorm first because
it makes life easier?
Yeah, I'm not consistent enough with my hover to avoid. That's interesting. Alrighty, so P-Train took down Aga 2. Following that bat from up on Dark Death Mountain to the pyramid below, I think Ganon's gonna have to call a roofing specialist here.
Well, we'll see. He may not get the chance.
I mean, that might be unfortunate, but, you know, he also did it himself, so I don't really have a whole lot of, you know...
Sympathy?
Thank you, that's the word. I was having words... Oh, hello.
Ganon also has no sympathy for P-Train. Of course, the fairy does, so the fight can continue for a little while longer.
Yep. This is fine. P-Train cares not for your fire, Ganon.
Jesse with 7 crystals on the board, heading for the mountain.
Yep. Picking up some goo on the way first. I don't dislike this. I really, you know, I do want to know where Hookshot was. I really kind of hope that in the downtime here, after credits roll and all that good stuff, since we are, you know, on a bit of a 10-minute delay here, I really hope that we get to see where Hookshot was.
I did like that silver scent. We have silvers behind the bow somewhere in Palace of Darkness.
Gross. Gross, but also not gross. I'm okay with this. That's hilarious.
The kind of thing you were unlikely to find.
Yeah, no, with bow go? No way, Jose. Alright, and 12 spins later, we have a pig exploding. Never gonna finish that roof there. Get your GGs in chat for P-Train. Taking this game 3 and moving on in brackets. Finishing with a race time GG time of 1:21.28. You can't take the razor back.
Well, you can, but why would you want to?
You know, that's a great question. And we're joined in the booth by P-Train. GG, sir.
GG's.
Okay, so talk us through a little bit about your thoughts with this seed in general.
Well, first off, I was just, even before we started, I was so glad to see open hard instead of, like, inverted key sanity, which I thought was what we were going to get. So, very happy to get that. And then early boots in Kakariko felt great. I felt my like entire like route to the Dark World was pretty solid. Went back for Zelda, or went back for Hyrule Castle, felt a little weird, but I didn't want to go into like, well, I think at the time it was like 5 or 6 heart thieves without a sword. Found a sword in Zelda cell, so I was like, oh, okay, so now, you know, and also some health, so Thieves Town feels better, Skullwoods feels better. And then I just put off Mire for the longest, and I was actually going to dive Mire when I did Mire's Shed, but because I didn't want to go to ice because I was worried about my magic situation. But then I saw that Mire was Bombos. I was like, oh yeah, I have Bombos. And I was like, wait a minute, I have Bombos. Like, no, let's go do ice before we go do Fighter Sword Dark Mire. So then I did ice, didn't find anything, still ended up going to Mire. very glad that I opted out of attempting Fighter Sword Vitreous. I was very happy to come back. And then, of course, it ended up being a hover seed, you know, with the sword and hookshot cave and, you know, wherever the hookshot is. I don't know. So that worked out too.
Yeah, we were curious if, you know, after credits roll and all that good stuff and delay, whatnot, if either you or Jesse were going to kind of go and peek around. Our theory is that it's just sitting in Pendant Eastern, but we also, you know, have zero idea, of course.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I got shenanigans to go to later today, so I don't have time to scout it, honestly.
No, that's totally fair. We'll throw out there, the green 20 that you found in Firebar Room was Jesse's Tempered Sword.
Yeah, I was a little sad to see that, but only a little because, I mean, I don't know when you do Turtle Rock, but you probably do Ice before you dive Mire, which means you're fighting Cold Stare with the Fighter Sword anyways. You probably dive Vidi. I didn't know if Jesse would want to go to Vidi or not. So that's a Fighter Sword, or if you go to Turtle Rock, it's still Master Sword. And then the cape was hard locked behind that bow on Vidi.
On Helma,
the cape was
yeah.
on Helmasaur, so Vitreous was just... I was very happy to be fighting Vitreous with the Tempered Sword after I saw that cape.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, what kind of was a bummer, and I know Jesse mentioned in race time chat, he had a like really kind of sad death to Moth very early on, went in, and Moth was so much nicer the second time. After pulling Mirror and checking the rest of Mire and realizing that, you know, Vidi has an item, he did go for the Vidi kill, but unfortunately had some issues in the first Dark Room of Mire, was kind of being bullied a bit by the fire shooters there, and had to use his goo early, and just it didn't go his way after that.
Yeah, I was actually kind of excited to get a Dark Spooky. I just literally just tried,
cool.
And I was like, I was like, we'll just see what happens. It's not something I practiced with, but I came in, so I didn't have to worry about like the spike or anything like that. But yeah, getting it off the anti-fairy, that was kind of neat.
No, that was really, really nice. You know, Dark Spooky, it feels great when you get it, and it's so much harder to get it when you do have that spike. But thankfully, you know, again, like you said, a moot point. But one of the things that does feel nice is when you've done Spooky enough times that you kind of have the muscle memory for what it's supposed to feel like, particularly in the anti-fairy room there.
Oh yeah.
Like, it just feels so swaggy when you do get it.
Yeah, that and Dark Turtles. Like when you get the NMG strat on Turtles in the Dark, that's also a really nice one. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the seed felt really good early. I was worried about how long I put off Mire. And then after, like, leaving Mire and then finding, you know, Master Sword, Tempered Sword, and then Bow on Vitreous, at that point I felt really good, just because I have Tempered Sword, one of which was locked behind a hook shot. I'm in go mode minus the hook. I don't really know about Jesse. I don't know if he could hover or if he knew the bounce or, you know, what his tech was there. But I don't know. At that point, I felt pretty good about things. You know, as long as I can hover Boldorm 2. For whatever reason, my nerves have been shot at the GT Climb these past few races. So especially this one being an elimination match for me, it's like, oh, let's not lose this way. Like, you know, any other way.
No.
Let me not lose because I can't get a hover. So yeah, I was glad to finally, you know, squeak it out there.
Yeah, it's well, gosh, it's. I mean, you're exactly right. And with how hovering works, for, you know, folks in chat who don't know, it's literally press and release for one frame and then continue on repeat. So if your hands are shaking, if your nerves are going, that only exacerbates the issue of, you know, not being able to get it. Oh, hey, look, half magic on the top right button or top right chat. I can't words. My Indian, please help me.
I don't know. I think you had the right thing there.
Thanks, bud. Just letting me flounder a bit more. But no, as far as Jesse's hover ability, he did attempt the hover for the Master Sword and Hookshot Cave. Unfortunately, he went for it once, got almost all the way there, and then, you know, fell right before the end and decided, all right, forget it. Like, I've got too much to do. I'm out. Yeah, and go ahead.
I was watching him attempt the hover, and it doesn't look like he made it, so that's sad.
No,
I sympathize, though.
Yeah. You know,
I was there 10 minutes ago, about.
Moldworm can be a bit of a jerk, to say the least. But there we go. First try every time, right?
And the one true go mode in the ultimate chest of the game, like you do.
Yeah. See, look, P-Train, this is what you miss when you don't kill Moldorm first. Question mark?
But you did give us the broken bumper instead, so we got to see a little of everything.
This is true.
Yeah, no, all in all, it was a fun scene. It was very comfy. Again, I was sweating Mire a little bit, especially when Mire was just in the first chest. But other than that, I thought it was very good. I thought the beginning of the game was very kind, with the sword, the boots, and all the stuff that it provided. So, and early flute too. So you had all the mobility you wanted. Mitts weren't that hard to get. Yeah, it was just kind of a nice, cozy. Just basically, like, you have all the things to do. Just take your pick. But for the most part, there was always a crystal dungeon you could access. So that was really, really nice.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I do have it's Memorial Day, and I actually do have some family matters to attend to. So
totally fair.
I hate that I can't stay and talk to Jesse, but I actually do have to get going, get dressed, and head out to some family cooking.
All right. Well,
totally
thanks
fair.
for putting on a great show here for us.
Yeah,
Good game. Moving on to the round of 32.
Is there anything that you'd like us to
sake,
relay?
in case, yeah, for posterity's sake, in case Jesse watches the recording back, GG's. It was a wonderful series. I was legit scared to have him as an opponent. He is a very good runner. So yeah, I'm glad to have the win, and I wish him the best in all of his other rando endeavors. I'll do my best to win it all. So you can say his one loss was to the winner.
There you go.
And you're still
All right,
waiting to find out about an opponent for the next round. Hayfield and Penny Royal still need to complete their round 1 series, so we'll look forward to that in the future. But yeah, by all means, P-Train, we don't need to hold on to you here if you gotta go. Entirely understandable. Thank you once again for putting on the show for us.
Thanks all.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we're seeing here, Jesse on his Ganon fight into phase 3, getting the fairly annoying-ish news about the silvers being in pod. But we are 11 spins away at this point now. And man, this Hollow Knight music, it's like the right level of intensity here.
It's pretty good, right?
I like it, and am very much not surprised by our friend's choice here.
Seems to be both visually and thematically appropriate.
Yeah. All we need now is like a Hollow Knight palette shuffle. Just make everything like, you know, blacks and blues and purples.
Now, here's the real thought. An entire replacement sprite pack somehow? I have no idea how the devs would get something like that done, but, you know, if we can just replace every single monster in the game.
That would be really cool. Alright. Finishing out these 12 spins. Pig is exploding. Sword is raised in air. RadicalSniper99, aka Jesse, finishing with a race time GG time of 1:33.18. GG's to Jesse. And we should be joined. Hey, speak and he appears. GG, sir.
GG. Oof.
Hey, Jesse. Good game.
Thanks.
Couple of kind of rough boss fights really seem to have turned into the difference in this one.
Yeah, I mean, like getting the sword out of Hyrule Castle, going back to Skullwoods, beating Moth, finding Kane. Immediately, I'm like, Ice Palace is the play. It feels great. And like, I felt a turn back. I was like, okay, Moth was bad, but Moth was a jerk. Hung out in the spikes. I couldn't get hammer hits in. So it's fine. I'll go to Ice. Ice goes great. Cold Stare, super cooperative. I get all the splash hits. I don't even have to do spins with Fighter Sword or hammer hits. I'm like, fine. Let's go to Mire. I get to Mire, get the mirror. I'm like, okay, we're fine. And I get to the boss. I'm like, I'm low bombs, but I've got the sword. We should be able to pull this off. And it went off the rails. And, you get that bow, and then you just realize, like, I know exactly how I would have played the end of that seed. Like, I would have gone immediately to pod, taken the God pod, gone PR and Hera, and I would have been able to skip the whole mountain. And you're just like it hurts knowing that that's how much time you lost. Like, I don't know if it's enough to pass P-Train. I knew this was a hover seed pretty quick at that point, and to say that, like, can I save 12 minutes to make this a race with P-Train? Maybe. Figure Mire's another few minutes. The mountain checks are a few minutes. The Moth is a couple of minutes. Like, there's time piling up with all those little moments. So I'm curious how close the race is if those things don't happen and what I'm able to drop out of time. Because, like, everything I did in between Paradox, Super Bunny, hard to say.
Well, and you're not wrong at all. It's just how it ended up laying out. And so I will share one kind of hover related piece of info
I did
here.
hear about it, so I was able to tune in after I finished and hear about the Master Sword hookshot cave.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
let's be honest, like, it's one of those things. I picked up the tech last year. I was like, I play too much cross keys. I know I need this as just a little extra token. Like, it's not going to come up much. I'm not going to use it a ton. I'm not going to need it all that often, but I want it there. And, that was the moment for it. That was the chance to pull it out. And, it's one of those things I can't have that be, some people know that now. Like, P-Train didn't know going in that apparently I can do it. Well, guess what world? I can. So watch out, I guess. Hello, cross keys tourney. When you start up, I'm going to be ready for you.
The confidence.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, today was a good hover day. It's funny. Like, you joke about it. I heard P-Train talk about nerves and whatnot, and he's not wrong. And sometimes hover goes well, and sometimes it goes trash fire. So
yeah, that's a really good descriptor. It often feels like it's one or the other, right?
Yeah.
It either works out or it is a dumpster.
Yeah, and the fact that I was close on the hookshot cave, like, yeah, it stinks missing the sword. Thank you, Tempered Sword Firebar. Firebar, but I figured, why not see if it's going today, because it's gonna happen. And that was the thing, like, I knew it was in his back pocket. Like, he went for it in our first race against in the Randomizer seed. So I knew he wasn't gonna miss it for long, and I've done it enough times in a race where, like, it takes me 7 to 10 tries. So second try, I'll take it. It's fine. That's, I'll blame the other stuff then, not the hover. Like, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and when it comes down to it, right? So He got the Hookshot Cave one, but you both had a 2-try Moldorm one. So in the grand scheme of things, like your first fall on Moldorm 2 didn't really lose you any time.
Yeah.
Didn't gain you, but it didn't lose you. So
I mean, like, I can be like, okay, those 2 deaths we talked about on the bosses are rough. Can I just say that Bunny Beam wearing off in TR just to get sniped by an eye laser? Ow.
Oh, dude.
Ow. That hurt. That hurt my soul.
It was so kind of rude.
I know it's possible. I've had it not happen in what feels like a year. So the fact that the Bunny Beam immediately drops that frame, and then I get lasered, I'm like, oh. I was like, I can make it. I just have to make it to Big Chest. I'll take a death. Like, at that moment, I'll walk into the pit. I'll take the death. It's fine. And then to get eye laser, I'm like, oh. Oh, man.
Man, it's one of those things where it felt like just, I don't know if it was nerves. I know you and I have talked that, like, nerves don't often really mess with your gameplay.
I'm not a nervy person, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, I feel roughly confident. Like, it's not even an ego thing. It's I feel comfortable doing it. Like, I'm not gonna try to psych myself up one direction or the other. And this was just
yeah, it just
fighter sword viddy's hard. Yeah.
That's really
Moth,
what it boils
like,
down to.
You can be aggressive on Moth as much as you want, and sometimes it works. And like, I thought I was having a decent day. I got the hammer blind, and I was like, okay, keep it going.
Yeah, that I will say, you're blind. Like, the very ending got like slightly dicey, but when it comes down to it, it was really well done. No complaints.
Exactly.
But it was just kind of unfortunate how the rest went.
I'm gonna try to head out myself. I think I hear my niece upstairs visiting.
Yay!
So I'm gonna go see my niece because why not?
Because family,
Well,
it's a good time.
Because my 5-month-old niece is important.
Yeah, no, I mean, imagine caring
right?
about family members.
But thanks again, MindDM and Leo, for the comms. Thanks, GFE. I look forward to Cross Keys tourney next.
Right? And we've got more shenaniganery that I'm certain we'll be doing.
Watch the rest of the
mentor tournament and all that good stuff. But yeah, have a wonderful Memorial Day. Have fun, Uncle Jesse.
Yep. Thanks all. Have a great day. I might jump on stream later, but yep, been fun. Later.
Later, Jesse. GG again.
Later. And for chat, we hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your Memorial Day for those of you who are stateside. As far as upcoming races here, it looks like we are going to have, if I can pull up my events here, here on SpeedGaming 2, we will have Schultzer versus Chloe Prower in their round of 64. Later on, on SpeedGaming 4, we will also have Rywek versus Kappa, Plasma Kappa, and this evening, Andy versus Vextifer. So we've got a good amount of races still coming your way this evening. Please, enjoy the fun here, enjoy the shenaniganery. Go give the runners a follow, give my MindDM a follow, give GFE a follow. Don't give me a follow because I don't remember the last time I've streamed. It's not worth the time, but have fun anyway. MindDM, any closing remarks that you feel like you want to share that I am not wording properly enough?
I think we've hit the highlights. The last little bit is you can go to speedgaming.org/schedule to find not only other tournament races going on for this tournament, but all sorts of other tournament and other speed gaming related action. You can follow SpeedGaming 2 through 6, the foreign language channels Deutsch, Espanol, Francais, and Portuguese. You can also, if you're so inclined and looking for more action in this tournament, follow ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 5. I think those are the last things that we really needed to worry about. Leo, it's been a pleasure. The outcome not in favor of your teammate, but still a good show put on, and I had a good time. So thank you so much for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we had been trying to make this happen for a while now, so I'm glad it finally worked out.
Yeah, finally, one of my pair comm signups did not get dodged by not having a channel. So, here we are. Everybody out there in Chatland, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us for an hour and a half on this Memorial Day afternoon. Whether you got the day off or you were tuning in from work or whatever it was you happened to be doing, if it's evening for you already and you were just tuning in after dinner, that's fine too. Please, by all means, if you are able and interested, drop by for those matches happening later today that Leo has already mentioned. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and close up shop here. Have a good rest of your afternoon, everybody.